Hi everybody, this is Chris Butson with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I'm here with David Stroud from Fairway Mortgage.
Hey everyone.
Today he's here to just talk to us about a program that he has available to us that can kind of help alleviate some stress when buying a house in a higher interest rate market. Um, so David, interest rates are still at historic lows, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they're still pretty low compared to historic rates, but it would be nice for sure if they were better, right? And that's what we're here to talk today about, some options that can help someone to get a lower interest rate, especially in those first few years that you've purchased a home where you're paying for moving expenses, you're going to update different items maybe in the house, and you're also getting other services set up, as well as maybe finding the right furniture for the house. And so at least those first few months, those first few years can be rather expensive. So if there's a way that you can reduce your interest rate so that your payment's less the first few years, that would sure be nice.
Awesome. So the program you guys offer is called the 2-to-1 Buydown. What exactly is a 2-to-1 Buydown? How does it work?
So it's a temporary interest rate reduction program to where for the first year, let's say someone qualifies for a 6% interest rate. For the first year, the seller would pay for them to have payments that would be 2% less than that 6%. So the first year they'd be 4%, and then the following year would be 5%. So it's the 2% low the first year, 1% lower the second year.
Okay, awesome. So like if we were to assume like someone's buying a house at $550,000 and they're locked in at a 6% interest rate, how would that benefit the buyer? How much would that save the buyer? The first year and then the second year.
Well, I think it depends on. Let's say the buyer is thinking that the market's shifted.
Okay.
They're not going to be able to get as much money as they were hoping for their house, and so they're considering doing a price reduction or giving some seller concessions.
Right.
What it gives them the option too is that possibly they could, instead of reducing the price of the home, they could provide seller concessions in the form of this program. And maybe in the end, the seller concessions would be less. And so they'd save a little bit of money, not have to give as much money, but there'd be an actually larger benefit to the buyer. And the reason there'd be a larger benefit would be, let's say if someone dropped the price by $10,000, the savings is going to be really low. So we're looking at like $80, $85 a month, spread out over 30 years, which is significant, right? But that $10,000 would have a bigger impact if they were to provide the 2-1 Buydown and help the sellers. And some of this could be where you would come into play and you would negotiate those sort of prices and what people would want to do.
Right.
But it could definitely save the seller some money.
Awesome. Well, sellers love saving money. So
Yeah. And so do buyers,
Yeah, everyone wants to save money,
And so that's what's really cool about this other set. So instead of just $10,000 spread out over 30 years that you would save by having the price of the home reduced, then you could save a significant amount, like say multiple hundreds of dollars every month instead of like $80, $85. And so that's where the big difference is.
Right.
And so when we could talk with more about the specific details, and so if someone has a house they're looking at, we could discuss how it would benefit them and if it's the right fit, because that's what we do, is make sure that something's going to be the right fit for someone.
Yeah, obviously you'd have to run the numbers and that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
And then you can always refinance after that 2-year period if the interest rates get lower,
Absolutely. And then if someone were to refinance before the 2 years ended, then any money that's left over from those seller concessions for the 2-1 Buydown, that would just go back to a principal reduction payment on the loan. So you as the buyer don't lose any of that money if you refinance super. So rates are expected to drop, and so when they do, you get it. And if they don't, you just save a ton of money for the first 2 years.
Right. Well, that sounds perfect. So what you're saying is at the end of that, so let's say a year and a half into it, I refinance. There's $1,000 left over from that initial payment from the seller.
Right.
That just goes towards my principal.
Right. You can apply it however you want. So that's your money. So you can apply it toward the principal balance of to reduce what the loan is going to be, or you could take that money and let's say use that to help me to fund whatever costs there are to refinancing the loan.
Well, perfect. Sounds like a very useful tool, especially in this market,
I think so. And you guys have questions, I'd love to answer them for you. Those who know Chris, you know that he's a fantastic realtor and he can help you guys to find the right house and negotiate so that you get the best deal for you, whether you're buying or selling a house.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll figure something out for you. We'll get it done. Whatever we need to do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.